So I'm gonna tell you a story from one of the weakest moments of my life where I just completely pussied out. And even thinking back on this today, bro, it still bothers me. So this is back during my last year of high school. I was a senior in high school, like 16, 17 years old. And you have to realize that at that time, I got all of my validation from being a star athlete. I was on the basketball team. I was a good player. And that's what made David feel like David back then. So going into the final season, they decided to change the head coach of the team. And the new coach, during the preseason, I was noticing, man, this guy's giving a lot more playing time to the younger members on the team, and I'm playing a lot less. And I started to come to terms with the reality that I was not going to be in the starting lineup that year, and it crushed me. That realization killed me, bro. So before one of the final preseason practices, I decided to go into the coach's office before practice because I wanted to confront him on this and possibly quit the team because I didn't want to play if I wasn't being valued as a member of the team. So I get there, 15, 20 minutes before practice, and I'm looking at the clock. I'm waiting. I'm like, damn, where is this guy? Where's coach at? He doesn't show up. It gets to 5 minutes before practice. He's still not there. He doesn't show up till about 10, 15 minutes after practice. He happened to be late that day, and he was like, David, get laced up. I'll see you out on the court. And I was just like, okay, I'll see you at practice. I'll see you on the court. Bro, I was so prepared to finally stand up for myself. And literally because the coach was a few minutes late to practice, I couldn't bring myself to do it again. I couldn't face the pressure of that conversation. I was hiding from the pressure. And out of curiosity, what do you think that the rest of my life looked like back then? What do you think my dating life looked like? Yeah, I was also hiding from all pressure in my dating life. While my friends were starting to have girlfriends and hook up with girls, I was too afraid to even speak to a girl for that same reason. I was afraid of facing even a little bit of pressure. And that's number one. You have to stop hiding from the pressure. So there's this one song lyric that I love. It's from the great rapper Beanie Siegel. Pressure busts pipes. Pressure can also make a diamond.
Pressure busts pipes. Pressure can also make a diamond.
Pressure busts pipes. Pressure can also make a diamond.
We know that this is true. Like last night, the water pressure literally bust one of our pipes out there after the plumbers were doing some work. And that's also how a diamond is made. When carbon atoms are subjected to 725,000 pounds of pressure, they form into this unique, beautiful formation. So here's the question. Right now in your life, is the pressure busting your pipes and screwing up your life, preventing you from reaching your goals, or is it helping form you into the man that you want to be? Obviously, you know that in the gym, your muscles only grow to that next level when they're subjected to a pressure, to a force that they've never experienced before. That's how muscle hypertrophy happens. The rest of your life is the same fucking way, man. Like, this is the whole concept of fight or flight. When you face a pressure situation, you either stay there, stand up for yourself and fight, or you flee away, you run and you hide. There's no in between here. You're either living your life fighting or hiding. Now, the good news is that it literally only takes making one choice to stand up and fight, to just flip the switch and completely change how you've been living your life. Like, it doesn't matter if you've been hiding from the pressure for the last 2 months because you've been in a rough spot, or you've been hiding from the pressure the last, 20 years, like your entire life. Looking back at my life, I flipped the switch after university when I finally decided, fuck this, man. I'm not gonna be lonely my whole life. I'm gonna start forcing myself to talk to girls. And then that put me into fight mode, right? And then after that, I also quit my job. I started this YouTube channel. I started a bunch of different companies, but none of that would have happened if I didn't first flip the switch. So now do you realize that in order to reach that next level, a level that you've never been to before, by definition, it's going to take challenging yourself in a way that you've never been challenged before. The question becomes, what is that challenge? What's that initial challenge that flips the switch and gets you to the next level? And that is why me and my team created the Next Level Challenge. This is completely free for everyone to join, and it starts today. A lot of y'all probably remember that back in January, we did the New Year's Challenge. Over 7,000 guys joined up, stepped up to the challenge. We saw some inspiring, incredible results. And because of how impactful that was, we are taking things to the next level with this new challenge. Anytime that I've felt completely stuck in my life, this is the exact thing that I've utilized to break through and get to that next level. And bro, I'm not gonna lie, this is gonna be tough. This is gonna take facing some pressure and manning up. But this is only 1 week. It's just a single week, and it's going to allow you to finally flip that switch so you don't have to hide anymore. And the way this is all gonna work is that each day this week, I'm going to send you a challenge to complete. And then at the end of the week, we're gonna be picking 3 winners who will each receive a private one-on-one FaceTime call directly with myself. And for every guy who makes it all the way to the end of the challenge, we are going to be holding a special one-time live event that no one else will get access to. So look, if you're the type of guy who shies away from a challenge, then you can ignore this and keep hiding from the pressure. But for the rest of you men, click that link below and let's get after it. Number 2, find the right evidence. So you've probably heard the saying, if you're a hammer, then everything looks like a nail. And this is based on the psychological concept of confirmation bias, which basically means we subconsciously search for evidence that confirms things that we want to believe or things that we feel like are true, because that allows us to feel more secure in our feelings and beliefs and feel like that the world's not so scary of a place. And this happens all the time in politics. Like if you're someone who has a high opinion of Joe Biden, you're probably looking at the stock market. The stock market's doing great this year. He's a great president. If you're someone who doesn't like Joe Biden, then every time you see him, mumble his words or trip over on stage, you're like, see, that's what I'm talking about. This guy shouldn't be president. And the same thing for Trump. If you don't like Trump, every time a new Trump indictment comes up, you're going to be like, see, this guy's a criminal. I told you, I knew it was true. If you're someone who likes Trump, you're going to scroll through that article until you find the sentence that shows that this is probably just another false charge. There's no actual evidence here. See, I knew they're still going after Trump. Politics aside, we also use this same confirmation bias in our own life, and usually it does not serve us well. So looking back on my life, I had a story of who I was. I thought I was very competent in terms of academics. I got very good grades. I thought I was a very good athlete, but I also thought that women, for example, would never be into me. That's just not the type of guy that I was. And the crazy thing is that everywhere I looked, I found evidence that validated these beliefs. So I knew it was true. If I saw a girl at the gym I wanted to talk to, but she happened to be looking down on her phone, I'd be like, see, now's not the right time to do it. It's not going to work. She's busy. If I finally worked up the courage, every once in a blue moon to actually ask a girl out, and then I got rejected or she said she had a boyfriend, I would be like, see, I knew it was true, man. Girls aren't into me. It's just never going to work out. Why do I even try and do this shit again? It's never going to work. And I think that this is the guy who's out there fixing up those busted pipes right now. I'll be right back. But ready, here's the insane thing. When I finally flipped that switch and I started seeking challenges instead of hiding from them, the evidence that I was seeing around me, it all completely flipped on a dime. Flipped on a dime? I think that's how it goes. Because at that point, the story I had in my head, it was completely different. Now I was this young G on the come up. I was gonna prove everybody wrong against all odds and fuck anyone who didn't think that could happen. Now when I would get rejected, I would see myself as Rocky climbing up those stairs, fighting through the pain. This is part of the growing process. And when a girl would give me a compliment on a date, tell me that she had a nice time or she liked how I led the date forward, I would be like, yep, I'm doing it right, bro. I'm on the right path. Even when I was doing YouTube and at first I was getting no views, no comments at all, I didn't look at that as evidence that I'm fucked and it's not gonna work out. I looked at that as evidence that this is part of the fucking journey. This just means I have to invest more time into this and work harder. No longer was the story that I was this smart, athletic guy who was just misunderstood and destined to be alone his whole life. I really told myself that bullshit story, bro. It was embarrassing. Now the story was that I was a hungry wolf. I was ready to eat. I was on the come up and nothing was gonna stop me. And everywhere I looked, I saw evidence that that was true. Number 3, the OnlyFans myth. So I'm gonna throw up some girls on the screen, and these are the types of women we commonly see on Instagram these days. They probably have OnlyFans. They're wearing revealing clothing, posting all these suggestive photos, putting up maybe these cringy, sexualized skits. And from an external perspective, I think all of us can look at it and it's almost a bit sad, right? Like, damn, this girl is really feeding off the validation she's getting in the comments and in the DMs. And we can all probably tell that if this girl was to stop getting these comments and this validation, that she would feel like shit, right? Like her whole ego was built upon this frail mountain of male validation that's coming her way. It's easy to see. But do you think that maybe as men, we do a similar thing? Obviously, we're not shaking our asses on camera. I hope none of y'all are doing that. But do you think that maybe we do a similar type of thing? So the question is, how do you do this? Now, looking back in my life, I can tell you a few ways that I did this. One of them was if I was texting a girl, I would always text her back, always be looking for her next reply. I wouldn't want there to be any downtime, any days that we weren't texting. If she didn't text me back, I'd be anxiously, checking my phone every 5 to 10 minutes. Fuck, why isn't this girl texting me back? Because if you don't get that text back, you don't get that validation. No longer do you know that she's interested in you, right? Another funny way I did this was by sharing my dating stories with my close friends. And I think that a lot of times, men, we actually want to have success with women so we can brag about it to our friends and feel like we're on their level or above their level with girls, right? It's more of like a masculine pride things a lot. So I'd be hanging out with my bros like, yo, did I tell you about that girl that I hooked up with last night? Man, the sex was crazy, dude. Wait, hold up. Actually, I got a text coming through from Felicia right now, bro. Oh, she's trying to meet up. You know that? Oh, did I tell y'all that I was actually talking to 3 different women? Not 1, not 2. I'm talking to 3 girls right now. How many girls are you talking to, bitch? Or the homie Dave. Y'all know the main homie. Something he used to do, and he's cool with me telling y'all this, is whenever we'd meet someone new, he'd be bragging about all the different places he's traveled. And he's very well traveled, but that's how he's getting his validation. Doesn't matter if it was a guy or a girl. He'd be like, oh yeah, but last month I was actually over in Colombia, then I was in Mexico, and then we're heading over to Spain next. Oh, have you traveled over to Spain before? Have you ever been down to Colombia, bro? And I gotta give him full credit, because at one point I told him, yo, this is kind of annoying. I don't know if you're doing this, but it's real weak. And immediately he stopped. Most guys couldn't do that. Respect to Dave. But the question is, how are you doing it? And I'm sure you've already realized in your head while I've been talking, and you got to realize that this doesn't work long term, because if you don't keep getting the validation, then your cup starts to empty out and you start feeling like more and more of a piece of shit. It's like if the OnlyFans or the Instagram girl stops getting those comments, stops getting those followers, she's going to feel like a piece of shit. You don't want to put yourself in a position where if you're not getting a text back from a girl, or you're not able to brag about whatever it is you like to brag about, that you feel like a piece of shit. That's a losing game. The key is self-validation. As soon as I started to self-validate, my internal peace and happiness and confidence just went to the moon. And the way you do this is by focusing on things that you have control over. Like, even if this girl doesn't text me back, I can still go to the gym today. I can still work on my side hustle. I can still approach a girl if the opportunity comes up. Even if I get rejected, I know that if I'm taking care of my shit, that I'm a fucking man. Rather than focusing on other people praising you, do shit that allows you to praise yourself and have a high opinion of yourself. That's the key. Number 4, stoic reactions. So if y'all don't know, I have the homie, Marcus Aurelius, tattooed on my upper arm there. And he's one of the main stoic philosophers from the Roman Empire. And if you've been watching my channel, you know that that is the basis of my personal philosophy for life. The Stoic philosophy is a game changer. And an easy way that all of us can practice thinking like this immediately is by how we react when something good or something bad happens to us. Because naturally, when something bad happens to us, we get broken up with, we get fired, we lose a bunch of money in a bad investment. It feels like the world's ending, right? We start to get in this doom, gloom mindset that everything's fucked. So then we stop working out, we stop taking care of our business, and we go through a slump. And vice versa, usually when something really good happens to us, we finally get that promotion. We finally, have a successful launch for our own business. We get the beautiful girlfriend. Well, in those moments, a lot of times we feel like, I'm winning, baby. I'm unstoppable, bro. I'm winning. Look at me. And then a lot of times it's just a short-lived win, right? You lose the girlfriend because you get too happy and comfortable. So what I've realized is by having very even keel reactions to things in life, and this is easier said than done, but it's turned me into a machine, right? Because if something bad happens, I lose some money, me and Julie get in a bad fight, whatever it is, I really try and take a step back and think like the man Marcus would think and say, this is bad, but it will pass. What's more important than the bad thing that happened is how I respond to this, right? Because this bad thing's happened, but I don't want to let the rest of my life go to shit. Now it's actually more important for me to stay tip-top on top of everything I'm doing. And when something really good happens, we have an edge launch that crushes it. We have an amazing year of business where we 100% have a growth year over year in our revenue. I try not to even celebrate it. I'll look at it and be like, all right, cool, we're headed in the right direction. Let's double down on the things that are doing well. But I don't need to have some big celebration about it, bro. Because again, that loops kind of back into the validation problem, where then if you're not having a big win, you don't feel amazing. I'd rather just operate each day, wake up, go to the gym when I'm supposed to go to the gym, knock out all the items on my to-do list to make sure I'm moving things forward for the businesses, spend time with my wife, stay mentally grounded, have peace of mind, and repeat that day after day after day. If you look at any of the top performers that you follow on social media, you'll probably realize that this is also how they operate. They wake up, they rinse and repeat. If they win, good, they keep going. If they lose, fuck it. We're gonna take it on the chin and we're gonna keep going. Your life can't be this fucking soap opera where just because a girl doesn't give you the reaction you want, you're all, oh, but she didn't text me back, David. You can't just hope that, well, next week when I have a good date and I bring her home, that's gonna be the best day ever. It's not sustainable. You're just taking yourself on this roller coaster ride and it's not gonna last long. You're gonna fail. That all being said, if you're serious about actually putting this stuff into practice and reaching that next level, click that first link in description to join the Next Level Challenge right now. I'll talk to you in the next video. Stay beastly.